We're here today with Jesse Phelps.
I'm Jesse.
He is our farrier for our roundtable today. So we'll go ahead and get started. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? What got you started?
I can. I started in 1991. Why I started? My blacksmith, Farrier, horseshoer, thought it might be a good idea. So I rode around with him some. That way I could stay and do the horse deal, and of course everybody wants to be a cowboy, so did I. So I would rope and also have a career that I would be involved with horses, with the horseshoeing. So that's probably why I got started. And he said I had a strong back and a weak mind. So I don't believe that, but we'll see.
So did you, for your education, did you stay and apprentice with him? Did you go to school?
I apprenticed with Jay Scarlett was his name, and I went to Oklahoma Farriers College in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bud Beeston was the owner, operator, instructor, and I went for 2 months. And then I apprenticed with Brian Smith, Dan Gilmore, local guys here for a bit, and then went on my own. Yes.
Cool. So we'll go ahead and get right into our questions. Our first question is from Nancy. Nancy would like to know when you should leave a horse barefoot versus when you should have them shod.
Correct. That can dictate whether you're several deals. Environment, what you're using the horse for, and how hard. So there's a lot of scenarios. If you can get away with it, good to go. If not, you just have to put shoes on your horse. So it kind of dictates on the animal and the environment.
All right, so I have a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a horse in shoes, is it ever a good time to pull them out of shoes, or do you like to leave them?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they should have a break. I would say the time of year when you're not doing so much, pull them off, round them up, give them a break out of the shoes. Indeed. Yes.
Awesome. All right, so our next question is going to come from Izzy. He would like to know, what is your recommended hoof care routine for my horse? Should I pick his feet every day?
Okay, recommended hoof care would be just a regular trim, horseshoes, whatever you're barefoot. So just a trim every 6-8 weeks. Just good solid maintenance, and you're good to go. Picking them out daily, if you can, go ahead. But my horses, I do not. And they tend to take care of themselves. If they take off running, they'll kick out a hoof pack, and they're good to go. So, no, not necessarily every day, no way.
All right. The next question is also from Izzy. From time to time, my barefoot horse gets a little ouchy on the gravel. Is this normal? And is there anything I can do to help toughen up my horse's feet over time?
Gotcha. Sure, it's natural or normal. Your horse is going to want to drift to the edge if you're on the road. That's just the nature of the beast. To toughen them up, you can do a few things. Caratex, hoof hardener, sole paint. Just keep going barefoot. Keep this short hoof capsule. Develop a good sole callus, and you should be fine. The man-made rocks, the stone in our driveways, is bad regardless. So just try to avoid it. Go around it, and you're good.
And real quick, one of our viewers, unless you had a follow-up, one of our viewers right now just had a question. Susan says, I'm moving to Florida, so my horse will be mostly on sand. He's currently barefoot. Is there anything she should do differently when he moves to the sand?
No, that'd be ideal. Sand is good to go. It's consistent with moisture, drought, blah, blah, blah. So that'd be perfect. Sand is good. Yep.
Now, if you have a horse in shoes and you pull their shoes like you're giving them a break, can you expect that horse to be a little tender, having gone from shoes to no shoes?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's just one horse may not notice at all. The next horse may take a month. So it's just they will show some sort of lameness or uncomfortable, but they'll get used to it.
Gotcha. All right, our next question is going to come from Cheryl. Would you recommend any type of boots for barefoot horses when riding in rough or rocky footing?
Gotcha. If your horse is barefoot and you choose to use riding boots, I don't have a recommendation for a style or type. So I leave that up to the horse owner to pick and choose. There's a bunch out there, and I hear they're good. So good luck with that one. They do work, but I don't have one to recommend.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Beth. If a horse is foundered and affected the feet, is stall rest recommended, or should the horse be allowed to move around freely?
Gotcha. Okay, that'll be one you'll have the veterinarian involved. So it'll normally stall rest with deep footing, something that's deformable, so it'd be heavy sawdust or sand, so the horse can make its own stance to make them comfortable, and you can go further and add, like, tape on a sole support for the laminitis and or founder, and stall rest for sure. Yeah.
Can you explain to us the difference between a laminitic and a founder?
Okay, laminitic is just inflammation of the lamina inside the hoof capsule. Founder is there's a bone in the foot. It has 3 names. We'll call it the coffin bone. And it rotates downward, which pulls the lamina and creates severe pain. And the hoof has also remodeled. And sometimes that scenario is not so good.
So you're talking about like does it rotate, or does it just come down, or how?
I
Does
can
it
draw a little
depend?
picture
Yes,
as
please.
we use the board. If we have a hoof capsule, I'm not an artist, so bear with me. We'll call this a normal foot, and this is the bone we're talking about, and this is all that's good, equal. And a foundered foot, we'll have this bone will be rotated downward. Now our angle from here to there is much drastic. So you're tearing this lamina, and you lose sole depth here, which causes pain. What was the other part of the question?
I think
I'll
that's
just ramble on.
So when this happens,
And this is a lot of salt here.
what do you do to help make that horse more comfortable, or is there a way you can correct this and get back to a normal foot?
Yeah, we would provide some sort of sole support. This would be the frog under the foot, and the frog is. Oh man, I'm not an artist. This is the frog, so we would support this apparatus from here back.
Okay. So and that kind of alleviates the pressure.
Yeah, you add like lift, arch support to the bottom of the sole, and hopefully help keep this bone suspended upward and not to fall down.
Now, is this something, if this happens to like a performance horse or a horse that's in a lot of work, is that something that they can recover from, or is that something that's going to be kind of career ending?
It's a scenario which does depend. It might be the breed of horse with thin sole versus sole with a lot of mass. They can recover, yes. Sometimes they do not.
Can you see that better?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So our next question is going to be from Linda. Linda wants to know if it is true that white hooves are more of a problem than dark or black hooves.
Sure. This is a commonly asked question. And the theory is that the white hooves are worse, softer, they break up, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's just pigment color. The horn tuberals are the same strength, and I don't see any difference between the white and a dark hoof. Actually, most of my the worst feet I do are actually dark.
All right. Linda would also like to know, is it true that quarter horses are known to have bad feet?
Quarter horses, our original guys, foundations type, no. They got great feet, nice, large, heavy bone, good wall. Some of our halter horses, that practice, they've become short and upright, little tiny feet. Not so much, they're not the greatest, but overall, quarter horse they do have good feet, yes.
So as follow-up to that, do you think, is there any particular breed that has problematic feet, or like as a breed trait, or is it because of what we have bred them for?
Yeah,
that they've
sure.
been, like the quarter horse foundation are good,
Right, yeah.
but then
You
you
get away
breed
from
for the
it,
halter
they fall
horse,
apart.
and
Yeah, that's with every breed, indeed. Yeah, they're all should have decent feet, but from Pasadena to a thoroughbred to Morgan, there will be bad feet in every breed due to genetics, just bad choices.
right. 'Cause, you know, we hear all the time like, oh, crappy thoroughbred feet
Gotcha.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and there's thoroughbreds with great feet, and there's some with terrible feet. Yes.
All right. Our next question is also from Linda. She would like to know, for an abscess, do you recommend soaking in water and Epsom salt?
Correct. No, the best is to locate your abscess, make a drain, and then use the Animal Intex poultice. It's a product, comes in a little hoof-shaped package. You dip it in warm water, squeeze the water out, put it on the hoof, tape it up, good to go. It's active for like 12 hours instead of the soaking is just while you're soaking. And it's a lot easier and it's more beneficial.
Gotcha. So when you're saying to make a drain, you're talking about draining the abscess. That's something that you want your farrier to
Yes,
do.
yes. Farrier or veterinarian, yes.
What actually is an abscess?
It's an infection that's in the hoof, whether it's from bacteria or a foreign object, trauma, laminitis. The rotation can cause a subsolar abscess through the trauma of the hoof capsule. So there's many different reasons, but overall it's an infection.
How will I know if my horse has an abscess?
He will be lame, like three-legged, like, oh my gosh, my horse broke his leg, type lame. And it's temporary, it will go away.
All right, so here's another one. Debbie would like to know what causes white line disease and what is the best form of treatment for it?
Okay, white line. It has a big long term, I won't say it, the correct term for white line disease. It's a fungus that attacks the lamina and it creates a separation between the wall and the laminae. And it depends on the severity. It could be the size of my thumbnail to nearly the whole front of the hoof capsule. So the treatment dictates on how bad it is. But to start with removal of the hoof wall to expose oxygen and then use some sort of topical solution, and you should be able to manage it pretty easy.
So what would if I'm picking up a horse's foot,
Yes.
how would I know if it has white line? Like what is that going to look
Sure.
like?
Normally it's in the toe area. You would have a void, and you take your hoof pick and you lose the pick part of your hoof pick, or use a probe, and it may be an inch deep, 3 inches deep, which would take you to the hairline, but pretty easy to recognize.
Gotcha. So Debbie also wanted to know how long it takes to clear up, but you said it's kind of a situational thing. Is that
Indeed.
going to depend on the severity
Absolutely.
as well?
It could take, if it's tiny, one shoeing or trimming to 8 months if it goes all the way up to the cornet band, or to a year. You bet, with quite a bit of therapeutic type shoeing.
Is there anything that you can do to prevent white line?
That's a tough one. Just good hygiene and regular maintenance. So then your horseshoer, farrier, they would notice the void and take care of it promptly. Then you should be all right.
Now, we had a really wet year here.
Yes.
Do those conditions,
Sure.
having that bacteria, is that something
Yeah,
that
it just provides a better
feeds it?
environment for the white line to take off. Yes.
Izzy would like to know, if my horse has a balanced diet, would you still recommend a hoof supplement? If so, what is your favorite?
Okay. Hoof supplements, a good balanced diet, you should be okay. And the hoof is a great indicator, solid, no chips, balance, whatever. Normally, it's not recommended. Do a good, proper diet. And maybe you feed vitamins, minerals, good hay, etc. And if you would recommend one, there's plenty that are all pretty equal. Farrier's formula to Nanerick company, they make probably the best, but it's very pricey, and you don't need it unless your horse is deficient in that certain mineral that is lacking. So normally not necessary.
So what kind of horse would you recommend? Obviously a horse that's lacking, but
Yeah.
what about the foot tells you that horse is lacking?
You would, sometimes the hoof is made up of, it's like hair, fibers. And they actually become exposed. You can see the horn tubules, they fray. Like, I don't know, like look like the end of a toothbrush, broom, something like that.
Like split ends in here?
Exactly. You can see the actual horn tubules. So that's maybe an indication of a deficient problem where a hoof supplement may be recommended.
Gotcha. Perfect. Do we have any other questions?
Yep, Nancy Adams just sent in a question. She's asking if it is normal to expect a horse to have thrush from time to time.
Expect it to be normal. It can be normal. That's back to environment, hygiene. Standing around a roll bale right now, the footing might be this deep. You could expect it, but typically, no. You should not experience thrush, etc., unless you have a hygiene problem with your stalls or where they're feed. Yeah.
What would you do for treatment?
Treatment, hoof knife, Farrier cleans it up good, and then there's plenty of products. You can use a vapor clean tracks or thrush buster. There's plenty of topical deals that you can use.
What exactly is thrush?
Thrush, that bacteria, yes. It's just a bad, smelly deal in the commissures and in the center of the sulci of the frog. Yeah.
Pretty easy to notice then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a crack in the center of the frog. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
The last thing was, what exactly is a balanced hoof?
Oh.
Going over a balanced hoof.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different idea.
Right, right.
That's balanced. But balance is just to load a horse up properly, so when he's in gait, he's loading level or evenly, anterior to posterior, front to back, length, medial, lateral, width. So there's a whole deal of balance. So it's kind of hard to just like, you might say, man, this horse is balanced pretty good. Then I take a look at it and like, ooh, not so much. So it's just a skill that someone has to develop, and it takes a while, I think, to not to figure out, but to get pretty handy at it. So that's just something that, and it's very important. But your horse needs balance, and it's more than one way. It's it can change through environment, age, just different deals. So you kind of can't always be flexible or creative, whatever, and keeping that horse in balance as time goes on, and with issues, whatever, lameness, and so on.
So another thing I think we hear people talk about a lot, kind of with balance, is breakover.
Right.
What is breakover?
Right. Breakover is when the hoof is, of course, striking lightly to flat, heel first to flat. And then as the horse carries over itself, it's breaking over. So it's when the toe is leaving the ground. So ease of breakover is very important. And there's people have ideas about that. Set the shoe back, square toe, rocker toe. But some sort of breakover is definitely used in each shoe.
So when you do, like you're talking about squaring the toe,
right,
rock the toe, does that change where the horse breaks over?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
So it's kind of like changing the mechanics of the way the horse's foot.
Yes, from like making hoof equal on like where on an X-ray or the center of articulation should be equal in front to the rear. So break over to the toe, where the toe is to where your heel's in, it should be equal front to back, or 1/3 more to the rear in certain circumstances. So there's all I could draw on the board and make it real confusing, but I'll just leave that up to when I run the rasp.
All right. Well, I think do we have more follow-up questions?
Yes. We just want to follow up a little bit more on what's a club-footed horse.
Okay, clubfoot. That's a hoof that is upright. So your heel height is almost equal to toe. That's not going to be a clubfoot. Let me draw. Am I in the picture?
Yeah, you're good.
Clubfoot's going to be, so our hairline's going to be real straight with a high heel. Like that. It's a clubfoot. I mean, that is a clubfoot. What is your question about the clubfoot?
All right, so I have a question about that. So is a clubfoot, is that genetic, or can that be man-made, or both?
Normally it's genetic. It can be man-made through high protein, super high protein diet. So your muscle and bone growth is faster than the tendon and ligament deal. So there might be a contraction which can cause a clubfoot. Yeah.
Now, if you have a club-footed horse, is that going to affect performance Should you want to stay away from club-footed horses?
Yeah, it could, in the long run, affect performance because things are so straight. But to shoe one, you're just going to balance him up the same short toe, correct heel height, length, and you can manage him okay, unless it's severe. Like 1 through 5, 5 being terrible, 1, 2, 3 being very manageable. Yeah.
All right.
Any other?
Yeah, that covered a couple of follow-ups. Just by going over it. So
We'll do like a 15-second call if anybody else has any follow-up questions. I don't want to miss anybody.
yeah, if anybody else has any follow-up questions, and if you want to go a little bit more over, showing a club-footed horse over a normal,
Gotcha. Okay.
what would be the big differences there?
The big differences are going to be our angle. Between here, it's very straight up and down, to where a normal foot has more of an angle. So this might be 65 degrees and this will be 54, 55. So it might be just 10 degrees straighter.
Mm-hmm.
To which can also, it does, the coffin bone inside the foot becomes more straight up and down. So you do have a little more effect. Maybe on a severe foot it will demineralize, so you'll lose a little bone at the tip in the long run, not off the bat. So, but you'll still trim the same. It'll be a little heel off, and then our breakover will be about right here.
All right. Now, is it possible to manipulate a foal's feet if they are crooked through trimming?
Yes, but at a very young age. So, and the manipulation will be very light, especially with the trim. If we need to do something, it would actually be adding an acrylic or width to whatever side needs the support to straighten them up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about the angles, what would the optimal hoof angle
Gotcha.
be?
Yeah.
And if your horse, how do you know if your horse has the right hoof angle? And can you fix it if it doesn't?
Gotcha.
How
yeah.
is-
That you just gotta stay in the realm of natural, like shoulder angle, pastern angle, hoof angle. They all kind of match, or they should. So that's just a general. The three should kind of line up for just good, solid, normal conformation.
So it's going to kind of vary from horse to horse?
Yes, horse to horse it will vary. Clubfoot versus a underslung, and you can only create, a steeper angle versus and a lower angle. You can only do so much. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other follow-ups?
Nancy has another question. She's asking if there is a difference in shoeing and trimming styles for gaited horses versus quarter horse or thoroughbred.
Good question. And I'm not a gaited horseshoer, which they do some extreme things, but the actual concept of balance it doesn't matter what it is pretty much the same. So if I would shoe a gaited horse, I'm still going to shoe him how nature would want this horse shot, not man. Yeah, so pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm. All right, and if there's any last minute questions out there, let's go ahead and give them a couple of minutes to submit those. But
Yep. And if we miss it, we'll go ahead and we will put it in the comments of the video. If we are done, we sign off before, so we don't miss anybody.
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for coming out, Jesse.
Indeed.
It was great having you.
Yeah. You're very welcome.
All right. Do you have any more?
Yeah, that seems to be it.
All right, well, I think that is going to wrap up Friday with Farrier. In case you missed this live feed, we're going to also be posting this on our YouTube channel. We also have some other videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. Keep an eye on that for more content and subscribe. Big thanks to Jesse for coming out today, and thanks for watching.
Stay well.